All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rachach, for the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the men of the Lord, prophesying, preaching, and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom, Barakathum. And I want to go in on this lesson because this is the alarm bell should be ringing for World War III and what that means in the context of prophecy, because we're basically almost out of here, man. To me, this is a major move, and this is a major uh, indicator that the scriptures were on point with prophecy, man. You know, some people doubt that you know, how many nuclear missiles are in people's stockpiles. They said, you know, the U.S. only has 5,000. There may be only like 10,000 in the whole world, but that's bullshit because, for one, nobody's gonna ever tell you the true number of their stockpile. You know, and I find it funny that people can just take their word for it, even though they they waged entire wars based off of false pretext. You know, like Iraq, they said they had weapons of mass destruction, and they never did. You know, so you're never gonna find out the true number. But see, we have the scriptures, we have the truth, we have prophecy that never goes off. All right. So let's hear what this guy has to say. This is Tim Pool.
They're coming back to saying, well, maybe it actually was a lab leak. Now, what does that all have to do with war and China, you may be asking? A lot. You see, when Joe Biden came out and said we were going to redouble our efforts to figure out where COVID came from and whether or not it leaked from a laboratory, an editorial in Chinese state media said, we must build more nuclear weapons to send shivers down the spines of the American elites to let them know we will not be pushed around.
You heard that? You heard that? Oh, man. Let me get the precept real quick. This is Obadiah. It's heating up. Actually, I might get Joel 3 real quick, because the Most High is gathering everybody, man. You know, we almost out of here, Akim. You know, and I for one am tired of this place, man. Let me see. Yeah, Joel 3 and 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles: prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." Because for years, China was known as a third world country, and now their manufacturing is taken off. They got more billionaires in China than they do in America. Now they control the flow of things. They produce everything. America only has service industry jobs. They don't make anything except weapons. All right, and their weapons, they're spread so thin across the globe that their defenses are way weaker than what they should be. All right, so when these other nations get ready to make their move on America and strike this place with thermonuclear destruction, all that advanced technology that they brag about, that's gonna be nothing, man. And there's gonna be nothing they can do when you got hundreds of thousands, millions of missiles flying in on this place, nuclear missiles. All right. And see, China was one of the ones that was weak that are now strong. Okay. Look at where they're at now. They said we're gonna build more than 100 nuclear missile silos.
Shortly after, China sent 28 warplanes into Taiwanese air defense space, and many people are concerned that China is going to make a move on Taiwan. Recently, a Pentagon insider penned an op-ed for Chinese state media warning Joe Biden not to go to war with China over Taiwan. You will lose. And then saying, well, look, China has a rightful claim over Taiwan. The problem is we rely on Taiwan for chip production, computer chips. And if that falls to China, boy, will they gain massive strategic and militaristic power around the world. And
even more so than they have. And see what good, you see how stupid America is, man? That's why the scriptures say they've laid a wound under thee, because you outsourced one of your most advanced technologies, like microchips, you know, for computers, cell phones, or whatever, over to another part of the region of the world, right? That you can't defend anywhere near that you could if you had one in your homeland. and China is within striking distance of just taking it. This is how World War III, things like this is how this thing is going to pop off, man. You know? But look at how stupid America is. Why would you put all your eggs in that basket? You know? iPhone's one of the biggest drivers in industry. Apple's the richest company in the world. And all of the iPhones that are 60-70% of their sales are made in China. Do you see how retarded this is, man? This is Obadiah 1 and 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. All right, and that goes for all the countries, really. But China struck these trade deals with America and say, yeah, we'll produce all of your goods for a fraction of the cost. Because see, that's why Esau did it. He did it for cheap labor. But see, what Esau is so stupid, he doesn't realize that he's only saving money with his own currency. And he's continued to print this currency, all right, in exchange for trading his entire ability to produce actual goods. All right, all of that to save money that he created, you know. So he's completely destroyed the job markets, the labor markets, you know. He's destroyed manufacturing over here in America. America doesn't have anything. None of the Americans can own anything. It says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So there's a gigantic wound because now most of America's economy is based on technology, and China controls all of that. They control all the Earth's majority of the world's rare earth elements, which you make magnets. You know, lithium, batteries, all of these things. China has a enormous advantage in you over, man. And not only that, China is over there in Africa deep, man, getting more resources. All right. So while Esau's over here playing money games with the U.S. dollar, you know, putting sanctions on people, telling people when they can and when they can't, you know, do particular things, who they can trade with, who they can't trade with using the dollar. You know, China's setting you up for the okie doke, man. They know that dollar don't mean anything. They're just taking all the manufacturing goods from you.
Massive economic power. Well, here we are. It's now being reported that China is building more than 100 nuclear missile silos in a desert. Satellite footage shows alarming development that signals possible expansion of nuclear capabilities. We are also now learning China, India, moved tens of thousands of troops to the border in largest buildup in decades. Both countries have built new infrastructure to support larger deployments and positioned advanced military equipment in the region. The fear is war will break out. Now, India is not the United States, but Chinese state media is making the case that perhaps the U.S. is pushing India into conflict with China. Now, I don't know if war is going to break out. You know, I get messages from people whenever I cover this stuff saying, Tim, you're fear-mongering. Look, I'm reading the news. Is it possible these news stories are just bits of propaganda designed to make you scared or think that China is evil and an enemy? Perhaps. We've seen it before, and we will see it again. They'll come out with news stories saying that Chinese soldiers are beating small puppies to make you think of them as villains. Dehumanization is extremely important if war were to be coming. And that may be the case.
And war is coming.
Now, I'm not going to pretend like China is innocent. We've gotten more than enough reports about what's going on in Xinjiang with the Uyghur Muslims. The fear there is, how much of it is propaganda? How much of it is true? Based on whistleblower reports, video footage, I tend to believe that it is true. I'm also scared that U.S. media and the U.S. government will be trying to manipulate us into believing that China is doing something truly evil in an effort to get us into a war.
And the war is going to happen, you know. This is Revelation 17 and 16. Because when all hell breaks loose, man, these other nations, especially the rest of NATO, all right, those other parts of the 10 horns, All right, they're gonna turn on you when Russia revs up its engine and starts getting troops over there. You know, in the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, they're all gonna turn and see who the problem is, and that's gonna be you, you Americans. Okay. It says Revelation 17 and 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked." All right. So to be desolate and naked means you're gonna look bad. This person's gonna be getting hit with plagues. All the stocks are gonna crash. The money's not gonna be worth anything. All hell's gonna be breaking loose, and they're gonna siphon all of the resources, which they did, which we spread up and read on Obadiah 1 and 7. They laid that wound underneath you, you know, because you don't produce any goods anymore. And then they're gonna burn you. It says, and burn her with fire. All right. It says, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So the Most High put the spirit on Germany, France, Spain, the UK to be in league with America until due time. And then once the Most High pulls that spirit off of them, that's what's going to happen. It says, and the woman which thou sawest in that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. All right, and who else is that, man? You can't get around this. All right, it's gonna happen.
But that's a bit conspiratorial in the long run. I think we've seen more than enough out of Hong Kong, out of within being very, very dirty, and the United.
That's basically it on that, man. I won't make this too long, but you know, when you read Joel 2, it goes in about the missiles as well too. All right, read this chapter. It's a very good chapter to read. Isaiah 34 is another good chapter. As a matter of fact, I might read a little bit of that. Yeah, Isaiah 34 and 4. It says, "And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved." So all your fighter jets, your aircraft, starcraft, whatever you create, Esau it's gonna lose against the chariots. All right. It says, "And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll," and that giant scroll that Isaiah is saying in the heavens is a giant mushroom cloud. It says, "And their host shall fall down as the leaf off of a vine, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven." All right, and that sword being bathed in heaven, that's those ICBM missiles that go all the way out in low Earth orbit, you know, and then when they come down to low Earth orbit, they fly all the way across the globe till they get to a particular point. Then they come back down and they branch out into a bunch of smaller warheads. All right. It says, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." It says, "For the Lord Jehovah is filled with the blood, is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams." All right, and that means this is going to be a giant gumbo of judgment. You know, in other words, this place is ripe for judgment. It's overflowing to the brim. This sacrifice. It says, "For the Lord Jehovah hath a sacrifice in Basra," and the Most High don't do nothing small, man. All right, everything He does is turned up to the max. So you know this sacrifice that the Lord is getting ready to do, the Most High, you know it's going to be off the chain. It says, "And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." All right. So this thing ain't nothing to play with, man. All right. That's what this is all speaking to. This is all prophecy coming together before your very eyes, you know. So I'll leave it there. Hopefully, y'all brothers were edified. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rachak Wadash, Wa Ba Babal, and Shalom.